Hello everyone, this is Dr. C.S. Sanjay Sonone. Pleasure to be with you to my channel. Now, let us start with the cost accounting subject. What are the main objectives and scope of the cost accounting? Then we are going to study a classification of cost, and main our focus will be on classification of cost, how this classified cost can be used while preparing a cost sheet. Now, let us see what are the main objective of cost accounting. It is for determination of cost. So we have to find out first cost. If we know the cost of manufacturing any product, then only we can decide about the selling price. So everything is based on the cost. Now there is a detailed study of the cost in cost accounting. We understand the various elements of cost, how to record it, and how to prepare a cost sheet, what we call as a profit and loss account in cost accounting, how to prepare that. So let us see what are the main learning objectives. First one is to familiarize with the various classification of cost under different parameters. What are those parameters? We'll study. Second one is to understand the concept of basics of classification of cost. So how do we classify the cost and what are the basis for classification of cost? Then to study the theory of individual classified cost under various parameters. So once we have classified the cost under various parameters, then we'll again individualize those and we'll study in detail how the cost factors are there. Now, basically classification of cost, there are many classification of cost, but we are going to study mainly four. The first one is basis of elements, that is nature. The second one is on the basis of behavior. Third one is on the basis of functions. And the last one is on the basis of identity. There are so many further classifications. We are not going to go into detail of that. Now we are to study a cost sheet also. So looking at the cost sheet, now our main classification is basis of function. The whole cost sheet is based on the basis of function. Once we know the basis of function, then we can classify them as factory, administration, and selling. In nutshell, whatever cost sheet we prepare, cost sheet is nothing but a profit and loss account, which is the where we are going to arrive up to a total cost, then we are going to calculate a profit. But this total cost is divided as per the function. Now, what are those functions? The main function is a factory where we manufacture a goods. The second function is a place where we do only administrative work. And third place is place where we do the selling and distribution activity. Now, collectively, all these three, factory, administration, and selling, will constitute your total cost up to the sale of a product. And then a profit margin is added, and finally, we arrive to the sales figure. Now, let us study one by one. First one is on the basis of elements and nature. Three classifications: material, labor, and overheads. Let us understand the first one. When we want to classify on the basis of elements and nature, three elements are only there. Either it will be a material, labor, or it will be overheads. Now, what is material? It is a cost of commodity, that is raw material supplied for production. So whenever we manufacture any product, we require a raw material. And the cost of this raw material is called as a material cost. Not only this main raw material, but incidental any materials are required, that is consumables, are also treated as a part of the material cost. Now this material cost is further expanded with cost of material plus all expenses incidental to the cost of purchase of material. So it can be a carriage inward also. Now second one is a labor cost. Now it is a cost incurred towards payment of wages, remuneration to workers or employees. We could see that first one was related to the material. Now this is related to the employees. So whatever expenses we incurred on the labor, all those are classified as a labor cost. So very simple classification is there. Third part is overheads. These are costs incurred other than on material and labor. So it's very simple. Either it is a material, or it is a labor, or it is a overhead. So anything other than material and labor we classify as overheads. Example of these overheads could be a factory rent, electricity charges. So these are the example which are neither a material nor a labor, but which are classified as overhead. So this was the first classification on the basis of element or nature, either material or labor or third parties other than material and labor, we call it as overheads. Now let us go to the second one. On the basis of behavior, how do you classify the cost? So we are talking about all cost from the beginning of the production till the selling point. We are talking about the cost. If those costs are required to be classified on the basis of behavior, then how to classify them as either fixed cost, variable cost, or semi-variable. Now this basis of behavior is defined on the basis of how the total cost changes with the level of production and how the per unit cost changes with the level of production. Now we'll go into a slight detail of this. The first one is factory cost or fixed cost. Now this fixed cost, a main feature of this is total cost is constant. So even if your production increases, the total cost remains same. So example is a factory rent. We are paying a factory rent of rupees, let us say 1 lakh rupees per month. So whether we manufacture 100 units in a month or 1000 units in a month, we have to pay 1 lakh rupees as a factory rent. So this factory rent remains same irrespective of production level. Now we'll try to understand better by way of a table. You can see on the left hand side in a table the number of units produced are given. Then next column is total cost and next column is cost per unit. If you look at the total cost, whether you manufacture 0 unit, 1 unit, 2 units or 9 units, your total cost is 600 rupees. So that cost which remains constant irrespective of production level. So once again I repeat, total cost is constant which remains constant irrespective of production level, that does not change. But per unit cost, it is what? Total cost divided by number of units produced. So in our case, for 2 units produced, total cost is 600. If we divide by 2, we are getting cost per unit as 300. If the production level is increased to 3, cost per unit is 200. So here you can see that cost per unit is changing with level of production. So we can say this way, per unit cost changes. It means cost per unit varies with level of production. So total cost remains constant, whereas per unit cost gets reduced as the production level increases. Now this you can see in the graph also, 600 rupees. It is starting with 1 unit also 600, 2 units also 600, 3 units also 600. So it is moving as a parallel to x-axis. 600 is a total cost which remains constant irrespective of production. Whereas if you look at the red line, that line indicates that higher the production, lower the cost per unit. For 1 unit, it was 600. The graph has gone down. It has gone to 300. Then it has gone to 200. Like this, it keeps on reducing as the level of production increases. Now the question is why we want to study this cost. This cost we want to study because we should know if we increase our level of production, what will be the future cost for us. So if the fixed cost is same, we'll try to manufacture maximum number of units if a demand is available for that. So this is the fixed cost. Total cost is constant, whereas per unit cost changes with level of production. Higher the production, lower the per unit cost. Now let us go for the second one, variable cost. Now here also we are going to study with the same angle what is the effect on the total cost and what is the effect on per unit cost. Now there are certain costs which we can study from the table. Once again, the number of units produced are given to us 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 9. Now here total cost for 1 unit is 10, for 2 units it is 20. So as the production increases, the cost is increasing exactly in the same proportion. So total cost is a cost which changes with the level of production. Now here total cost will increase if the production level is increased. Now we can see that the production was 2 units, total cost was 20. When production is double, that is 4 units, now the output total cost is 40 rupees. But if you calculate the per unit cost, in a per unit cost, which is calculated as total cost divided by units produced, per unit cost is 10 rupees, irrespective of production of level. Now, when this thing happens, it happens with the expenses like raw material cost. So if you want to stitch a shirt, 2 meter of cloth is required, and let us say 2 meters of cloth costing 100 rupees per meter. So 200 rupees is required for stitching one shirt of. If suppose we want to manufacture 2 shirts, this cost 200 will become 400, double. Total cost will be 400, but cost per unit will remain at 200 only. So these are the main feature of a variable cost, where the per unit cost is always constant. So irrespective of production level, your per unit cost is constant, and your total cost will keep on increasing in the same proportion as the production is increasing. Now this is the second type of a behavior cost. First one was a fixed cost, second one was a variable. Now these are the main two costs in behavior, but there can be a combination of these two. That cost is called as semi-fixed cost, or it is also called as semi-variable cost. Now semi-fixed cost means total cost will also change, per unit cost will also change. Now let us understand from the table and graph. Now number of units produced are given to us. It is starting with 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7. Now these are the level of production. When the level of production is 1 unit, our total cost is 400. So per unit cost calculated is also 400. If our production is increased to 200, we notice that our cost is not increasing. It is remaining at 400 only total cost. But if you calculate a per unit cost, that works out to 200 rupees. So here the total cost of 400 has remained same. There is no change in this total cost. Whereas per unit cost has got reduced to 200. Next, the production is increased further. Then the cost is 400. Per unit cost is now 133. When the production level is 4 unit, suddenly total cost has increased. Till now it was a constant. It has increased to 600. Now when we calculated per unit cost, it is 150. Now here we can see the total cost is increasing with level of production, but not in the same proportion. So when 2 to 3, 400 remain 400. When 3 to 4, 400 has jumped from 400 to 600. Now here the cost has changed improportionately. Sometimes 0 rupees increase, sometimes 200 rupees increase. Now calculated figure, cost per unit, is behaving in a totally different way. It was 400, then it was 200, 133, then it has further increased to 150, then decreased to 100, then increased to 114.29. Here the cost is changing, total cost also is changing, but not in the same proportion. And per unit cost goes up also and down also. So if you look at the graph, the blue color line, you can see the blue color line which is increasing with level of production, but sometimes it remains constant, sometimes it jumps. Now, this is the behavior of a semi-variable cost, or what we call as a semi-fixed cost. Per unit cost, you can see it is changing and there is no specific direction for this. It decreases also, it increases also. Now, this is nothing but a blending of fixed and variable cost. Now, what are the examples of this? Now, supervisor salary. Now, supervisor looks after the multiple departments. So, every increase in production, we don't require the extra supervisor to be appointed. So, for some time, it remains constant, and suddenly then it increases when the production level is slightly more and it is not within the control of one supervisor. We have to employ now second supervisor. Here, suddenly the cost will increase, total cost will increase. Now, this is where the cost of behavior behaves as a fixed cost, as a pure variable cost, or blending of variable and fixed cost. Now let us come to the third one. Now this classification is very important for us while preparing a cost sheet. So whatever costs are incurred from manufacturing till sales, we are classifying into three parts. First one is a factory, a place where we manufacture a product. I don't think any students will face any difficulty to understand what is the meaning of a factory. Factory means a place where we manufacture. The second place we have identified is office, what we call as an administration. Now, in an administration place, we never manufacture a product. This is the place from where we control all the group activity of the company. How much to manufacture, when to manufacture, whom to sell. So they are working on both the side, factory side also, sales side also. Now the place of administration is called as office. So this is the second category. And third category is selling and distribution. Now this place has no concern with manufacturing a product. This place has no concern with administration work. Now at this place, a finished goods is given to them and their only target is to sell the product. So let us individually study this item with examples also. The first one is a factory cost. Expenses are incurred at the place of manufacturing, that is factory. Costs are incurred on production, services, on raw materials, workers employed in factory, and expenses on factory. So we should have the vision that we are talking of a place where actually the production is going on. And all expenses incurred at a place where the production is there are called as factory cost. Few examples of this: purchase of raw material, then carriage inward, workers' wages, supervisor who is working in a factory, supervisor's salary, factory expenses. These are the few examples. When we go for the cost sheet, we'll have the detailed items of this factory cost. But this example indicates that the expenses are incurred in a place where we do manufacturing activity. The second place is expenses are incurred at the place of administration, that is office. These are called as administration cost. Example is office rent, salary of a manager or director. Generally, a manager or directors are assumed for administrative work unless specifically told that factory manager. If it is a factory manager, we call it as a factory cost. Otherwise, we call it as an administration cost. Professional fees, office staff salaries, repairs of office. So everywhere we can see the relevancies with the office and administration. So these costs are administration cost. Third one is selling and distribution cost. Now, selling cost and distribution cost, there is a slight difference in these two. Selling cost means expenses are incurred for marketing a product. We are selling a product, while that we incur the expenses. And distribution cost means sales are completed, but for giving the delivery of the product to the customer, giving the demonstration, so whatever cost we incurred, we call as a distribution. So let us study these two things collectively here. Expenses are incurred at the place of sales, that is selling expenses, at sales depot and godown. These costs are incurred for marketing a product. Example is advertisement. Will it be a factory or administration? The answer is no. Advertisement is a sales cost. Sales commission, salary of a sales staff, these are all selling expenses. Now, if you go to the distribution expenses, these costs are incurred for distribution or services of a product. Example are carriage outward. If you look at the carriage inward, it is we are talking about a purchase of raw material that goes in a factory cost. If you talk about the carriage outward, we are talking about giving the finished goods. So we talk about the distribution cost. Now, godown rent. Godown rent is also a place where the finished goods are stored before delivery to the customers. Delivery van expenses. Now, this van is used for distributing a product to the customers. Now, these all are called as a selling and distribution cost. So the basic category of all the costs together is either it is a factory at the place of manufacture, or administration at the place of office, or selling and distribution at the place where the sales depot or godown is situated. Now this classification is very important to know, because for TY/BCom students in examination also majority of the problems are based on classification by functions, and this is nothing is difficult if you understand the main theme of basis of classification by function. Now let us go to the fourth one, on the basis of identity. There is a concept to find out whenever any expenses are incurred, it is incurred for which finished goods. If you can identify for which finished goods, we call it as direct cost. If you cannot identify to any one specific finished goods, then we call it as indirect cost. Now let us understand the meaning of a direct cost. It is a cost which can be identified and chargeable to any one specific product. So here the identification is possible to one specific product. Now example is purchase of raw material. When we purchase a raw material, we know which finished goods we are manufacturing. Carriage inward related to that raw material. Workers are working and they are manufacturing a specific product and you are paying a wages to them. So we call this as a direct cost. So here on material also our expenses are incurred, on labor also are incurred, but identity is, it is for specific products, so it is called as a direct cost. Now something which is not direct will automatically will become indirect, but definitely we have to understand the logic of indirect also. Indirect cost is a cost which cannot be identified and chargeable to any one specific product. So when we are spending expenses, we cannot say that I am spending for manufacturing finished goods X or finished goods Y. If we are spending the money for a, let us say, a factory rent, and in a factory you are manufacturing product X also, Y also, can you say that factory rent is paid for X only? Answer is no. Can you say that it is spent for Y only? The answer is no. So here the cost is incurred, but it is incurred for multiple products, and that is why it is called as an indirect cost. Why we want to classify as an indirect cost? Because if some cost is incurred as an indirect, then this cost has to be distributed among the products on certain basis. Something like you are learned in a departmental account on the basis of area occupied, number of electric points, horsepower. So here, whatever indirect expenses are there, we have to distribute among the various products for that which it is incurred. Now, examples I have given. So let us take an example of supervisor salary. If supervisor is looking after department X also, department Y also, then we have to find out how much time he is devoting for X and how much time he is devoting for Y. The salary paid to him is a single salary. Let us say 10,000 rupees we are paying a salary to this supervisor. If he is devoting 60% time for X, 40% time for Y, then we'll distribute at 6,000 and 4,000. So why we want to know whether this is a direct or indirect? Direct cost means we directly charge to the product, and indirect cost we apportion among the multiple products on certain scientific basis, like area occupied, time devoted by a person. Now few more example is like a factory rent. Factory rent is paid for the factory as a whole. If you are manufacturing 5 different types of finished goods, you cannot say that factory cost is incurred only for any one specific product. Here also apportionment is required. So proper apportionment is to be done and distributed among 5 different products. Now these costs for every product is called as an indirect cost. These are indirectly incurred for them, and later on it is charged to that product. Now these are the main 4 classifications we wanted to study. So when you have the basic of a cost classifications, then we can prepare a cost sheet in a systematic way. Firstly, let us understand what is the meaning of a cost sheet. Cost sheet can be defined as a statement of cost for a specific period which accumulates all costs incurred while conducting various functions such as production, administration, selling and distribution of a product. So we are collecting all the costs together, and these costs are prepared in a statement form, what we call as a cost sheet. In financial accounting, you may be calling something like a profit and loss account. The expenses are classified here and present such cost as per the stages of function. So costs are not combined together in any way. It has to be combined very systematically, like function wise. First we will take all factory because the production is first, then we'll take administration, and finally we'll take sales. And when we combine all these costs, we are going to get the answer called as a total cost. Now this is required for taking a managerial decisions. So let us further study on cost sheet now. Now this is a format of a cost sheet. Firstly, we are going to have a factory cost. In a factory cost, if you add administration cost and if you add selling and distribution cost, we'll get the total cost. This total cost in technical language in cost accounting is called as cost of sale. So you may be studying a financial accounting, the words are very different way it is used. Whereas in cost accounting, the words are used very systematically. So we may be having a different concept in financial accounting, like cost of sale. It is different in financial accounting, but it is different in cost accounting. In cost accounting, cost of sale means from manufacture to sale, all cost combined together is cost of sale. Whereas in financial accounting, what we do, sales less cost of sale, then we calculate GP. Then we keep on deducting further more expenses. So their cost of sale is different, here cost of sale is different. Now let us see how to prepare this cost sheet. But we have decided one thing, that this cost will be classified as per the functions. First we'll talk about all factory cost. Then we'll talk about the administration cost. And finally we'll talk about the selling and distribution. And ultimate result will be to us will be cost of sale. Now we are talking about a factory cost. Now this factory cost is broken up again into 2 parts, a direct cost and indirect cost. Now this happens only in a factory cost. We want to know what is the direct cost and indirect cost. Because if you look at the administration, we are not having a classification there. We don't require now. But for factory cost, we need to have the classification as direct cost and indirect. So let us say in a factory, whatever expenses are incurred, we are distributing in 2 parts. Direct factory cost, another is indirect factory cost. Now let us talk about a direct factory cost only. A direct factory cost is further classified as material cost, labor cost, and overheads. Now this is the use of knowing what is classification of cost. Extreme left hand side, classification on the basis of functions, factory, administration, selling. Then classification on the basis of identity, direct, indirect. And now we are talking about in a factory cost, in a direct factory cost, we are talking on the basis of elements. On the basis of element, either it will be a material, it would be a labor, or it would be a overheads. So these three costs, direct cost incurred in a factory towards material, labor, and overhead, is called as prime cost. So there are frequent questions also. The total of direct cost incurred in factory is called as. So it is called as prime cost. Now let us look at the further expansion of this. Direct cost we are classified as material, labor, overhead. Then the total of these three we will be calling as a prime cost. Still we are doing the calculation of a factory cost only. We are arrive at a figure of a prime cost. Then we are adding all indirect costs incurred in a factory. A simple word for indirect factory cost is factory overheads. So whenever the word factory overheads is there, we can assume that these are indirect expenses incurred in a factory. We'll be adding a factory overheads, deduct a sale of factory scrap. Now whatever I'm telling now are the technical things, adjustments which are required. At this juncture, you just try to understand what is the classification of cost. But at the same time, I'm showing you what is the format of a cost sheet. So slightly going ahead, this is the way the calculations are done when you prepare a cost sheet. You are taking a direct cost, material, labor, overhead, then you are saying I have calculated prime cost. Once the prime cost is calculated, then we are adding all factory overhead. One miscellaneous adjustment is there, less sale of factory scrap. So if you add these things together, we get the answer works cost. But this works cost, we have not done any adjustment of work in progress. Now, what is the work in progress? It is a semi-finished goods. It is not a finished goods. The raw material have been started to convert into finished goods, and it is halfway only. And during that, we are preparing a balance sheet. So that material, which includes the other cost also, are called as semi-finished goods or work in progress. Now, this is the another technical word so far as cost accounting is concerned. We understand very well semi-finished goods, but this is work in progress. Now, if you make an adjustment of opening stock of work in progress, less closing stock of work in progress, then ultimately we have come to the works cost. Now, another word here is works cost. This is also called as a factory cost. So when you are learning a cost accounting subject, you have to use the technical words related to cost accounting. So till now we are saying all these are factory costs. Perfectly right. It is a factory cost. But this factory cost, when you as a cost accountant want to present to somebody, always call this factory cost as a works cost. And that is why we in India, the qualifications were cost and works accountants of India. So works indicates a factory. So this is the basic calculation so far as factory cost is concerned. In factory cost, all the combinations are used of classification of cost. Subsequent, there may not be so complications, but only in factory cost there are the complications. Once again to repeat, factory cost is broken up into two parts: direct cost, indirect cost. All direct cost total called as a prime cost. But this direct cost incurred in a factory is divided into three parts: material, labors, overheads. Total is prime cost. Then you add indirect factory cost, we get works cost. Technically adjust the work in progress, we get the ultimate works cost, what we call as a factory cost. In this works cost, if you add administration overhead, we are getting the result cost of production. We will slightly go fast because I will be taking in detail all the items also. If we add in this opening stock of finished goods and closing stock of finished goods, we get cost of goods sold. Again, the new technical words we are coming across: cost of production, cost of goods sold. If we add in this selling and distribution cost, we get cost of sales. If you add your profit margin, ultimately you get a sales. So this is the true format of a cost sheet. Now let us go further in this by breaking this into three parts. One is a factory, another is administration, third one is selling and distribution. Let us understand the first part only in detail with the items which are covered under the factory cost as a direct cost. So remaining three items we'll see later on. The first one is direct material cost. We have seen that direct material cost, direct labor cost, and direct overheads, the total is called as a prime cost. On the right hand side, I have given you these three items. Original format is kept in a brief format like this. On left hand side, we can see the detail item. So what is the direct material cost? In direct material cost, you have to give a detailed calculations. Now it starts with opening stock of raw material, purchase of raw material, and all expenses incidental to purchase of raw material. Then deduct closing stock. The net result is your direct material cost. In technical language, in cost accounting, this direct material cost is called as raw material consumed. So let us read out those items. Direct material cost is calculated as opening stock of raw material, purchases of raw material, foreign imports of raw material. I am giving a different name for the same thing. Carriage inward, freight inward, it is one and the same, but technically different words can be used. Custom duty, which is paid when we purchase the goods from the outside the territory of India. Octroi, insurance on material inward. So everything, all expenses incurred for purchase of material are classified as direct material cost. Less closing stock, your ultimate result is raw material consumed. So this is direct material cost. After calculating direct material cost, add direct labor cost. There may not be a various varieties, but different names can be used for this, like a direct wages, productive wages. Productive means the person is directly involved. If the word is unproductive wages, means he is indirectly involved. So only we are talking about a direct wages. So it is a productive wages is a direct labor cost. Labor cost for production. Again say twisting of the words are there. The production word is used at the end. It indicates this is a direct labor cost. The next one is direct labor expenses. These are the twisting of words only, but ultimate objective is any labor costs incurred in a factory which are direct are called as direct labor cost. Third part is direct overheads. So other than material and labor, we call them as overhead. This is what we have studied in a elements classification. Material, labor, and overheads. So any expenses which are directly incurred for a product, we identify that yes, we are incurring for this. That is direct expenses. Specific royalty on production. We are hiring a equipment for manufacturing a specific product. So whatever rent we pay, whatever the rental charges we pay, all those are called as direct overheads. When we take a total of this, we get a direct overhead. So direct material cost plus direct labor cost plus direct overheads, the ultimate total we are getting, it is called as a prime cost. Once again, I will repeat one line. The total of all direct expenses incurred in a factory is called as prime cost. Now let us go further now. We have seen the prime cost. Our cost sheet will go into a multiple pages. Then we have to add factory overhead. That is what we are adding, indirect cost. When we add indirect cost, we are going to get a works cost. Now few examples I have written about the indirect cost. Now on the right hand side, I have given the keywords to you. If you come across these words, there is a strong indication that we are talking about a factory overhead. So somewhere the word is there, indirect material, indirect wages, or the word factory is there. factory expenses, factory manager salary, factory rent, or the word is there works. So you are looking on the right hand side in a keywords. Works, fact, works manager salary. So it is also factory, factory building, plant, machinery. By the nature only the word plant and machinery are related to the factory because it is used in production. Laboratory, where the laboratory is there? In the factory. Storeroom, storeroom is a place where we store the raw materials and consumables. So this is a factory. Drawings office, this is very technical word. The word is used office, but drawings, where the place where we do the drawings of the finished goods, this place is there in a factory only, where we plan about how the finished goods should look like. So where the working is done? The working is done in a factory. Technical, these are just a hints that these are the keywords. If it come across, you have to be very cautious to know that this is a factory overhead. Examples, let us read those example. Indirect material, indirect wages, factory expenses, unproductive wages. If it is productive wages, direct labor cost. Unproductive wages, indirect factory overheads. Power and fuel, factory rent and taxes, factory insurance, electricity expenses on factory. Supervisor, where is he working? He is working in a factory. Welfare expenses, factory repairs and maintenance, work salary, technical director fee. Technical director is where he is working. He is working in factory. If only director salary is there, then we call it as administration expenses. Laboratory, again factory. Repairs and plant and machinery, depreciation on factory building, storeroom expenses, drawings office salary, factory stationery. So this way, when you look at the item, you should take the judgment whether it is incurred in a factory, office, or sales. By the nature of this item, we understand that these expenses are incurred in a factory. If those are not direct, then all of them will cover under a factory overheads. After taking the total of all these items, we have to deduct from that sale of factory scrap. Some scraps are generated. If you sell it, then you will deduct from the total of expenses. Ultimate result is worst cost before work in progress. Add opening stock of work in progress, deduct closing stock of work in progress. The ultimate result is works cost, what we call also called as factory cost. So this way we have calculated a factory cost, and factory cost is calculated as direct material, direct labor, direct expenses, prime cost, and factory overhead. We get a works cost. In between, certain adjustments are there. Those are all technical adjustments we have to do. Let us go to the next one. Now we have calculated up to a works cost. We already reached up to a works cost. Now we have to add administrative expenses in this. Now what are the administrative expenses? Now by this time, you should understand that whenever you read any item, you should visualize whether it is in a factory, whether it is in an office, or whether it is in a sales. If you can link the item, you classify it. So if I give any wrong item in this list, you can always just think on this, why this wrong item is there. Office expenses, it is an administrative work. Again, here also on the credit side, I have given some keywords like office, administration, director, or manager. If these words are attached to some expenses, then I will understand this as administration overhead. Now, second example, I have given office rent, office insurance, office electricity, office salary. Specifically, it will be mentioned as to which item is this. So it will not be something like the rent is given. No, rent has to be specified whether it is a factory rent or office rent. And when it is specified as office rent, it is an administrative cost. Now legal charges. Now legal charges is also for administrative purpose. Director's fees. Yes, director can be there. A marketing director also can be there. A technical director can also be there. Technical director means factory. Marketing director means selling and distribution. But the word here used is only directors. So when there is nothing attached with this, so director we always assume as administrative person. Next one is office salaries, postage and courier expenses, telephone expenses. Do you feel that any of this is a factory or selling and distribution? The answer is no. These are not a factory, these are not a selling and distribution, but it looks to be an administrative work. Manager salary, general manager salary, sundry expenses. Now it is not mentioned what kind of a sundry, so it is an administration. If they want to tell about the factory, they will say miscellaneous factory expenses. So if it is miscellaneous factory expenses, it will go in a factory cost. But if it is the sundry expenses, miscellaneous expenses, like these words are used, the conclusion is that this is administration cost. Next one is professional fees, conveyance. The big word itself is given administration expenses, depreciation on. Now these are the combination: office equipment, office premises, computer is treated as administrative, furniture is treated as administration. It does not mean that there are no furniture in sales depot. There may be furniture in sales depot. There may be furniture in factory, but they have mentioned only the word furniture will take in administration cost. Computer, administration cost. Now there can be a multiple item of this: repairs of computer, then higher charges of computer, depreciation on computer, then furniture also same way, repairs and maintenance of furniture, depreciation on furniture. Now, like this, the multiple items are possible to be given to us. Ultimate purpose is all other office expenses are administrative cost. So when you take the total of all these administration costs, we get the total. Works cost plus total of administration overhead is called as cost of production. Add opening stock of finished goods, deduct closing stock of finished goods. Ultimate result is cost of goods sold. Now there are many technicalities in this. Somewhere we have added opening stock of WIP. Here we are adding finished goods. All these are future workings you have to do while preparing a cost sheet. But first we should know what is the cost sheet and how the cost sheet is based on classification of cost. Once we understand the classification of cost, then we can go for preparation of a cost sheet. And while preparing a cost sheet, we should know the technical adjustments for stocks, adding, deducting, and how it is calculated. Now here technical words are there. Works cost, add administration overhead, we are reaching to cost of production. When you make an adjustment of opening and closing stock of finished goods, we are reaching to the new word called as cost of goods sold. So cost of goods sold is calculated at this juncture. We'll go further. In cost of goods sold, see on the right hand side I'm giving you a keywords. If you come across the word like sales, showroom, godown, please understand that there are different names for different places. So a simple outside example if I give you is the place where you attend the lecture is called as classroom. The place where you sit for study is called as library. The place where we take the consumables or food, we call it as canteen. The place where we play the sports, we call it as gymkhana. So something like this, the places are defined, but collectively all this is called as a college. But in a college, where are you in a college? I am in a canteen. So canteen is a place where you have the food. Now similarly, showroom is a place where we are displaying a finished goods. It is a sales expenses. Godown is a place where we keep the finished goods for delivery to the customer. It is the selling and distribution. Earlier we have seen laboratory. Laboratory is a place where we do the testing of a finished goods, whether it is up to the mark or not. There we have seen the word a storeroom. Now storeroom cannot be exchanged with showroom. Storeroom is a place where we keep a raw material and consumable. The place where we keep a finished goods is called as a godown. It's called as a warehouse. So every place has got its own meaning. So while classifying, you have to understand the relevance of those, and then only classification will be simple for you. Now let us see example of selling and distribution. Again, now you have to keep in your mind whether this is a factory, whether this is the administration, whether this is a sales. So I'm reading out the items. Commission on sales, obviously related to sale. Salesman salary, salary of sales manager, advertisement, trade fair expenses. See, at TYBCom level, we should not have the problem of understanding this word. Trade fair means a place where we display the products and we communicate to the competitors, we communicate to the consumers, and we are talking to them about the products. Showroom expenses, traveling expenses, catalog. Now traveling is a technical word. There is a understanding in accountancy. Conveyance is for administration, traveling is for selling and distribution. So as a stage 2 of classification, you can go into a very much technicality of this word and understand the difference. Catalog, again, this is a something like in a hotel we get a hotel menu. Similarly, whatever products we are having a catalog. This is for marketing purpose. Free samples, other selling expenses, go down warehouse rent, expenses on delivery van, sales depot rent, carriage outward, freight outward. These are the different name. So transport on sales, this could be the another name for this. Sales on delivery van, repairs, insurance. So any expenses incurred on delivery van, different name may be given, repairs of a delivery van, insurance of a delivery van, but you have to identify this. Depreciation on delivery van, depreciation on motor van. As I said, in a second stage, you have to understand the difference and the very complicated word like traveling conveyance. Here the word I'm using motor van. So van means carrying the goods. If I use the word motor car, it is for administration purpose. Direct passengers are traveling is called as a car. Van, the goods are taken, it is called as a van. So car and van, there is a difference. Car goes in administration, van goes in selling and distribution, demonstration expenses. If you add all these items of selling and distribution, now on the screen, I have given very few items, but these are more than sufficient to understand the concept of selling and distribution. We can come across the many further items, and here the logic is same. Whether it is incurred at the place of production, at the place of administration, or at the place of sales. So total is taken as cost of goods sold plus selling and distribution is called as cost of sale. Another technical word, instead of total cost, we are using a word cost of sale. Beyond this, there is no further cost. Add profit, ultimately we get a result as sales. So this is the complete format of a cost sheet, wherein we are starting with material cost, labor cost, direct expenses, total prime cost, add factory overhead, do some miscellaneous adjustment of sale of factory scrap, add and less opening work in progress, we get works cost. In a works cost, add administration expenses, we get cost of production. In cost of production, we are adding and deducting finished goods adjustment, we get cost of goods sold. Add selling and distribution expenses, we get cost of sale, profit, and then sales is calculated. Now this is what a classification of cost is there on the basis of function. Now, but this is not the end to the cost. Beyond this also there are certain expenses which we don't take in a cost sheet. We call them as a non-cost item. So does it mean to say that these costs we don't consider only and we calculate the profit? The answer to that is yes. Cost sheet is prepared for calculating a cost of a specific product. Now, when we are calculating a cost sheet, the irrelevant items we are not taking. I am calling the word irrelevant, but in cost accounting, these are called as a non-cost item. They are not a cost item, and which are to be ignored from the cost sheet. So even if these items are given as expenses, let us take few examples. Now, before taking example, I have categorized into 5 parts. The expenses which are incomes which are pure financial income, we ignore. Pure financial expenses, we ignore. Pure financial gains, we ignore. Financial losses, we ignore. And appropriation of profit, we ignore. Now, randomly, let us take some example like say debenture interest. Now debenture interest is in a point number 2, third item. Debenture interest, whether it is in a factory, answer is no. Whether it is for administration purpose, answer is no. Whether it is for selling and distribution, answer is no. Then what kind of this expenditure is? These are called as not related to the production either directly or indirectly. In pure financial words, these are pure financial expenses. And pure financial expenses we don't take in a cost sheet. So interest on loan is also another example before that. Now, if you look at the first one, pure financial income, just keep on reading. Bank interest received, property rent, transfer fees, these are not taken in a cost sheet. If you look at the fifth one, appropriation of profit, goodwill written off, preliminary expenses written off, income tax, donation, transfer to sinking fund, provision for contingencies. Now, all these expenses and incomes have their own logic, which does not fit in the definition of a cost. And these are called as a non-cost items. These items have no relation with manufacturing a product directly or indirectly or selling a product. These items do not have any relationship. And that is why when you prepare a financial profit and loss account, you may be taking this item. But in a costing P&L account, what we call as a cost sheet, we don't take these items. So obviously there has to be a difference in these two. So profit as per cost sheet may be different and profit as per financial profit and loss account may be different. So when you see these two figures are different, the reasons are that these items we have not taken in cost accounts, and that is why there is a difference. So there is a need of preparing a reconciliation. This would be another topic to you in future.